Hey guys, what's going on? It's Warpath2 or Adam, and my god, my Twitter timeline has been filled with people talking about used games and what the Xbox will and will not do. And so, I'm not going to say I'm an authority on this because I don't have any more information than the average person does. I just do a little bit more research. But I'm fairly confident about a couple of things with used games on the Xbox One. So before we start, let's get a little bit of background information. 3 months ago, I'm going to play the clip here in a second, I made a video when everybody was freaking out about used games, had no idea what was going on, saying it's the end of used gaming, where I talked about the licensing system. So I'm going to play the clip right here real quick.
I don't think this is going to be an issue, guys. I wouldn't bet any amount of money that you're going to have to play new games only. It would throw the industry for a loop. It would upset a lot of people and probably drive the sales of your console down. So I don't anticipate this happening. Look to relicense games if that does happen. If they do require licensing, you'll be able to buy it from either Xbox or GameStop.
So back then, 3 months ago, it didn't make any sense to me that Xbox would completely cut out used games, that next-gen consoles would cut it out either. There's no part of that makes sense. They need GameStop, GameStop needs them. It's a symbiotic kind of relationship. They both get benefits. My video explained exactly kind of what's going on now. It's a little bit more in depth now that we have more information, but it talks about the licensing system, and it's a good move on their part. I'll be honest about that. I'll kind of explain that in just a moment because now everybody gets a little bit of money. So let's focus on what we know really quickly before we move into kind of my thoughts on this future of used gaming. So yesterday, we got the Xbox One reveal. Microsoft didn't really touch on this during the press release event thing, but they did talk with outlets afterwards, and some media reported this, specifically The Verge. That was my source for this. They talked about used games. Now, this is important for two reasons. So number one, all Xbox games are going to have to be installed onto the console. That's just the way they're going to do it. That way they're not reading from the disc every time. It would create a slower experience when they try and verify the license. Licenses are going to be verified randomly on a 24-hour basis. This is where the whole always-on requirement was brought up. You don't have to always be on, but your Xbox does have to be able to verify that license. If it doesn't verify the license, then you can't play the game. And that's very similar to what PC does. That's very similar to what Android or iPhone does. If you haven't verified a license, or if you have a fake license, or if you're not connected to the internet, it can stop access to the game. It's a very fair way to kind of do it. Now, I understand people's hesitation that they're not always going to be connected, but I don't know a single gamer that I play with that doesn't always have internet access because we play together. So let's also talk about what the next step of this is. So once you've installed the game, this is now linked with a unique identifier that you enter at the time you purchase the game to your gamer tag. So what people are freaking out about is that they can't take the physical disc directly to somebody else's Xbox and just play it. You can, but it's not the same. You're going to have to sign into your gamer tag, and it's going to have to be installed. So it's not killing used games, it's just killing people taking games over to their friend's house to play it. Now, even if you do that, you're good to go. You're fine. You can play the game, your friend can play the game on his system, it doesn't matter from that point. But if you take your disc away, your friend's going to then have to buy the license in order to play the game. So what's made people mad today is Microsoft Corporate Vice President Phil Harrison talked about the used gaming. He was asked specifically what would happen if they purchased the right to play that game through Xbox Live. And if it's a new game, would they be paying the same price that was paid for the brand new game or less? And so he said, let's assume it's a new game, so the answer is yes, it will be the same price. Now, what I want you to think about is how much you pay for used games right now through GameStop. Call of Duty Black Ops 2 is probably selling at GameStop for $50. That's my guess. I don't have any exact proof of that, but $50 sounds like a freaking price that they would charge for that game. And that's because it's still a popular title. People still like the game. So even if you were to go to GameStop a week after a game was launched, and if they did have a used copy, I would bet you that right now, for a AAA game, you'd be paying $55. That's just the way GameStop works. That's how they get their money. So they're essentially selling you the game the same way that Microsoft would already, just in a hard disk format. So I think you'll see what happens here is one of two solutions. GameStop will still be around. They're always going to be around. They're a popular retailer, not just for new games, but old games too. What you'll probably see from them is either a system where they've worked with publishers and content creators to create a licensing system for resale, or they're going to sell the games cheaper, so when you buy the game, the license won't be as big a portion of that purchase. I don't know exactly what's going to happen, but one way or another, both parties are going to have to work together on a solution for this, because Microsoft and game publishers need GameStop. While they're not always going to be the number one stop for console sales themselves, they will be number one when it comes to new game releases. Hype around releases is one of the bigger selling factors now, and frankly, publishers and Xbox need that from GameStop. They're not getting that from Walmart or Target or any of these other game locations. They need that. So it's going to be something where there's going to be a change. There's always change in a new console generation. I just don't think it's going to be as big of a deal as people think it is. Now, Microsoft also kind of talked about a way for you to trade licenses with friends or sell licenses online. So they've already got another solution in place to kind of fix this license thing. So if you don't like a game, you can go sell the physical disc at GameStop if they're still doing that, or you can just sell the license and you won't have to worry about it. So there's going to be a way around this. Used games are still going to be a thing. It's a big portion of the gaming market, and I think it's a lot of what drives even some new game sales. I don't think game sales for Borderlands 2 would have been as big if people didn't buy used copies of Borderlands 1. It's just kind of how the game industry functions now. But that's it, guys. I'm going to wrap this up from here. If you want to check it out, yesterday I did another video about the reveal that's going to be at the bottom right corner. And, well, I'll make sure there's something there that you guys can click and just go check that out. But that's it, guys. If you don't think this is going to happen, just tell me in the comments what you think would happen. And if you're mad about it, let me know too. I'm kind of curious to see how people really feel about this. I'm going to wrap it up here, though. Once again, my name is Adam, or Warpath2. You guys take it easy.